it's a very uplifting album. Like, sort of makes you walk 10 foot tall. You know, if you have it on headphones and you walk down the street, kind of makes you feel great. Like other records didn't, but this album
more direct.
Yeah, it's sort of
melodic,
euphoric.
Yeah. What strings on most of the album? It's just some of the songs on this album sound fitted beautiful, you know. So it just makes it warm and uplifting and beautiful, I suppose. So yeah, it does work with that. It's on most of the album. Yeah.
Not many, you know. It's probably like 14, and then we chose 11. You never really do loads. Like a lot of bands can do like 30 or 40, but we kind of tend to know straight away if they're going to be good enough. So it's quality over quantity every time. Yeah. Most of the time a loop or something. But if you imagine like if you were drawing a picture, like say, you know, it can take 4 months sometimes. You keep adding to it, stepping back, looking at it, and then, oh no, that's not quite right, and then move that, change that. That's kind of why sometimes you get about 8 songs in one. It's just like loads of different ideas. But it just sort of adds to the uniqueness of them. But yeah, imagine if it was like a picture. It can take like 3 months.
And lyrics?
Well, Sergio's a songwriter, always has been. The relationship is amazing. We're like Pete Townsend and Roger Daltrey. You know, and Sergio, you know, he's like a workaholic. You know, when he gets his mind on certain things, he goes into his studio or his room or wherever it is. You know, his vampire lair, I call it. It's all dark in there and stuff. And he comes into the light, and he comes back out into the outside world. He's not locked away in his capsule. And he says, "Yeah, Tom, we're going to record. These are the songs." I'm like, "Oh, cool." And you know, I listen to him and take him away and tell him, "Yes, that's amazing." Well, you know, he's my brother, so I believe everything he writes. So I believe he writes songs for me and him. He's forward thinking, you know, he always does. And yeah, and that's pretty much how we do it. And you know, if, like I said, if there's a word that could be better, somebody's changing or a way it's sang or part of the lyric or whatever it is, we'll speak about it and talk about it. So you know, we're always like, you know, yeah, like that.
His studio's there, so it's nice to get away for a few weeks, get out of England and kind of be you know, you're sort of left alone to finish it, you know. So, but yeah, it's just because he lives there.
So there's no hippie influence?
No, I wish, you know, I'd be lying if I said we were sort of on this sort of mad hippie trip, but, you know, there is some psychedelic moments, believe me, but it is down to, that's where he lives.
It's not psychedelic.
We're rebel hippies, man.
Yeah.
We're rebel hippies.
Once on YouTube I saw a video. You were listening to Let's Bleed from the Stones. Okay, the heartbeat. So, what about the influences for this album? Because you're so influenced by the 60s and 70s, of course.
Yeah, well,
that's a compliment.
Rolling Stones. Yeah, no, definitely. Rolling Stones are, you know, if not one, you know, the greatest band ever. Like, so if you listen to them, it's hard not to be inspired. But I'm not interested in what they sound like then. If they were around now, what would they sound like? That's kind of where we're coming from.
No, I mean, what do you mean? The name of the album? What the?
No, I mean, you speak about the fourth.
Yeah, well, just you know, I just think the whole concept of these, you know, these little fucking dinosaurs that scratch and they're a gang, they're like a band, you know, like us, we're quite tight. And it kind of, I always said to Sergio, imagine being called the Velociraptors in a rock band, and it kind of stuck with us, you know, like they try, you know, Tyrannosaurus Rex or Triceratops. Their words sound amazing, and I can't believe no one's ever really picked up on their names. They're just the best names, prehistoric Latin names. They're fucking amazing. So, and that's really all it is, you know, just like a gang mentality.
It was the centre of the world for a bit, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Creativity
was,
yeah, you know, music and fashion and sort of sort of ruled. Everyone was looking. So you couldn't help be inspired by that, and it made you believe that you could live in this small little town, but you could take, you could take whatever you were good at to the world.
I mean, apart from the swinging 60s, back in 95, 96, we were 14, 15. And again, it was like the swinging 60s, everything was looked beautiful, you know exactly what I mean. And the 70s, had the glam rock and the punk era, and then the 80s was just shit, complete shit. And then all of a sudden, Britpop had come alive, and rock and roll music was the centre of the universe again, from England, And then they had the garage rock influence of American bands that had come over, like Strokes and all that, beginning of this, and then, so it's different. A lot of things have changed now, and then they had a kind of like Franz Ferdinand, Us, Razorlight, Monkeys, all these bands come along, so there's only so many bands left now, and rock and roll's kind of got Kings of Leon and Coldplay and U2 that are huge.